Hey everybody, Jay Huffman here. It's been a while. Probably haven't posted a YouTube video in almost 2 years now, maybe a little less than that. I wanted to get on because I've seen the climate of technology change drastically over the past 6 months. I think we can all agree. um, Especially when you're deep embedded in the tech space. There's always a new project dropping, a new update. Um, it's a lot to keep up. I'd say in the almost 8 years that I ran my business, the past 6 months has changed more than the last decade, just in terms of what's available out there through AI. Um, I'm still finding that a lot of people are trying to wrap their head around this. What is it? How does it apply to me? Um, where's my place on this earth given this situation? Is my job at risk? There's also a lot of optimism, right? We're given some of the most powerful tools human beings have ever had on earth. And what we can do and accomplish with them far outweighs a lot of the fear. And so for me, even getting into AI, being in the app development space, it was a little worrisome. But, spending years studying, researching, learning how to utilize different tools, seeing just the evolution of, ChatGPT, for example, and LLMs that we've all grown fond of. There's a lot of capabilities out there, but one thing that I'm finding that is still the defining factor in creating something successful comes down to building the right thing, making sure that what you're building is crystal clear. I've seen so many deals go south not because of the development, but because of the pre-planning, the pre-context. What am I building? What features am I utilizing? Are these features important? What low to high complexity do I want to build out that feature? So even though development is getting a bit faster, less costly, we're still running into the same exact issues we were when it would take 6 months compared to 6 to 8 weeks to build something. So regardless of whether you're spending that much time or that little time, it really comes down to the solutions architecture. So this is a very important piece. A lot of people overlook. They start building. I see companies building some really advanced tech. Some colleagues of mine, people in my network, in my founders network, and a lot of them are having trouble identifying things like their ICP, their ideal customer profile. They don't know what their true competitive advantage is in the marketplace. So a lot of technical founders get caught up in building something really amazing that they see a vision and a future for. But the realistic outlook is that, AI is still fresh, it's still new. There's a statistic that 86% of people have never even used some type of chat intelligence like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Grok, right? Or utilizing Meta. So there's a large percentage of the population that may have heard about it, know that it's coming, but they really don't know how to make sense of it. So there's this huge, vast capabilities given to us, and there's so many options that it's becoming even more difficult just to pick one and run with it. and especially in business, there's this huge misconception that there's this one person team that's running a bunch of AI agents and bots, and I'm sure there's some rare cases of that, but realistically there's still human power, there's human intellect, there's human drive, the will that we possess, the empathy, the understanding of humans and emotions and wants and needs, that's going to show more and more how important that is. So if you don't have that, it's going to be really difficult pushing your product out there. I've been fortunate enough to work with some really ambitious founders. We've built a complete citywide media platform that's powered by an AI content engine. I've been fortunate enough to be trusted in building out AI infrastructure for an entire city and town, amongst other projects that are really fascinating right now. And an old buddy of mine is growing plants with Claude that I met in a coffee shop. It's quite bizarre. But all of this got me thinking, and my main point here is that it's so crucial to know exactly what you're building, why you're building it, what the market looks like. I mean, there's just too many options out there. So, if anyone, really wants to succeed, they have to narrow it down. They have to come to some type of like, we have these big, vast, beautiful ideas and vision. So do I, and I'm even I even have to catch myself. But we really need to just kind of trim the fat, and squeeze it down into who are our first users. How do we get to market? How do we get our first 5 users, right? Not how do we get 1 million users? How do we get our first 5? How do we get 3 of those 5 to have this aha moment, like, oh my God, like, why haven't I been doing something like this? There's a certain logic and expertise and game plan that goes into that. And so, really finding the right people to work with is still just as much important as it is before. I don't see AI being able to make executive decisions or use things like intuition that's led a lot of humanity for quite some time. What I want to get out of this is that there needs to be some type of standardized structure. There needs to be a gold standard for how you approach new ideas, and how you think through them, through risk, information gaps, any type of misunderstanding about what's being built. I've done I've always been a huge advocate on being specifically thorough before building, and I've definitely got more wisdom over the years and for doing something like that. But I'd say it's even more important now than before, because you don't want to go spending your time on something that doesn't pan out the way that you expected. So that's why I've been working on an internal tool. It's called DealMind. Basically, this is going to structure deals so that everything is crystal clear about the outcomes. This way, the client is 100% clear about what's being built. The person that's selling, the fulfillment team, the founder-led company. This is going to create a lot more communication end to end, from the sales process, the pre-sales process, all the way out through fulfillment and delivery. This is something that I'd recommend taking advantage of in some which way, form, or format. Just be a little bit more critical of your ideas, and just make sure that you're spending the right amount of time and actually getting written down, like, word for word, specifics, because eventually, the coding part, like right now, it's being replaced by AI, right? But the creativity, the game planning, the structure of what your outcomes are, that's still very human. So the better you are at being crystal clear and defining what it actually is that you're building and why, that's when AI starts to do wonderful things. If you're very confused about what that is and you haven't accurately defined it, you haven't had a chance to look at all the potential risks or information gaps, AI is not going to be able to code that properly. You're going to run into a lot of issues, whether it be having to debug, whether it's a user experience issue that doesn't quite flesh out. I mean, maybe you're building these features and you think that your aha moment, that moment clicks and your user likes your product and wants to, stay engaged as a user. Maybe it's not lined up with your ICP, your target market. That causes a lot of problems, because you can have the best idea in the world, but if you're not getting the right messaging across, then it doesn't matter how much you build, right? So I built this system so that we can run any idea through it, literally anything. I mean, it could be a sentence, it could be 2 sentences, and it's kind of gamified. Like, you have to level up to earn your spot in being deal ready. So if you do not get through that process, my company, Integral App Studio, won't even make any type of offer to build it for you or utilize any of our AI infrastructure to do it, just because it's not going to be something that is going to create longevity for us in a business relationship. So it wouldn't work out for myself or you. So yeah. I guess I'll just leave it at that, and just chime in when I feel it's appropriate. But I appreciate everybody listening and sticking it through. I know I was posting some videos of my solo trip to Thailand, and I really appreciated everybody that all the support. Being this entrepreneur, business owner, father, and going on this solo journey. So I hope to share a lot more about what I'm building and case studies and my viewpoints on AI and what we're personally doing in the AI RevOps system space. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.